Hello, welcome to part 6 of Complete ServiceNow Discovery Series. My name is Selva Arun. If you haven't seen the full playlist, check out the description box below. So in part 5, we covered how to scan Windows servers. Today, we will be scanning a Linux server, specifically Ubuntu 64-bit using our Windows Mint server. To successfully scan Linux servers with ServiceNow Discovery, you need to set up the right permissions and credentials. ServiceNow connects to Linux servers using SSH. You will need a dedicated user account with SSH access enabled. Many discovery probes and pattern requires elevated permissions. The discovery account should have a passwordless sudo access, but only for a specific set of commands needed for discovery. Here are few best practices to keep in mind. Always grant the least privilege necessary. Create a dedicated user for discovery. Restrict sudo access to only the required. Now let's jump into a live demo. In step 1, I will show you how to create the ServiceNow user, and in step 2, we will configure passwordless sudo for the required commands. In step 3, I will register the SSH credentials in ServiceNow and run a credential test. And in step number 4, we will launch a discovery scan and monitor the logs to confirm a successful scan of our Ubuntu server. So without further ado, let's get started. So please go through this SSH credential product documentation page for the complete details about the credential setup, what kind of privileges you should be giving and what not to give. So everything is written here. So I will be following a documentation which I have created for myself, how to grant the access, to the Linux or the Unix server. So the first thing I will be doing is I will be creating a dedicated user, and then I will be granting a no password access to certain commands which are typically required for running the discovery. So let's get started without wasting much time. So let's go ahead and create a user. I am going. Okay, sorry, a user already exists. I think I've already created one, but I will do one thing. I will just remove this. I'm going to give a different name. So the user has been created. Now we are going to set the password because we will be using that in our discovery. Great. So let's go ahead and create a sudo's file for SSH, like nano. Sorry, I'm just going to copy this. Let me come here. And if you remember, I have to tweak a little bit here. SSH, because that's the username which I created right now. So we are going to next grant the limited sudo access without password. So let me just go ahead. I think I will just copy it, come here and paste it. And I am going to save it, and then I'm going to exit. Control X. I don't know what is that. It says, okay. Oh, sorry, I did not press the enter, and exit. Now it's done. Let's go ahead and confirm the settings. ServiceNow SSH, I believe. We are switching the user here. Oh my goodness. Not an Linux expert. I am just learning with you guys. I don't know why it is giving me some error for being typing the password correctly. Oh. So since we have set this up, perfect. So after a successful troubleshooting, I was able to figure out that I did not set the password, or something was actually wrong with the password. I have got a prompt saying that unlocking the password would result in passwordless account. You should set the password. I'm really not sure what happened. So let's go ahead and try to check if our permission did work, and you don't have to struggle whatever I have struggled. So you can just check with your Linux admin or a Linux developer or whoever is responsible for the infrastructure, and you can see that it did work, that it did not ask for any password, so it worked. So our first step is done. We have set up the username called ServiceNow SSH, and we have given a password, and we have granted the password less sudo privileges to that particular user. So our part is done from the Linux side. So the next part would be going to our what is that? We will be going to our mid servers, and we will be checking the status, and also we will be running the live scan. So I could see that my mid server is actually aborted, so which is why the mid server is currently down. So let it come up. And I just wanted to check one more. I think it's iConfig, I believe. I wanted the, it's asking it cannot be found, so we need to install it. I don't want to install it. I think I've already done it. So let me switch the user. I know the IP address, but I just wanted to show you guys. So whenever I run to a virtual service, my system is pretty slow. So I will be aborting one of the virtual server, which is going to be the Linux. So as you see, it's pretty slow, right? I just want to check one thing on Pig. It's telling that I have not installed it, but if you want it, you can just go ahead and install it. I don't know if that command is also correct. In the Windows, we use ipconfig. So that's the correct one, which is, sorry, ifconfig. I'm learning a lot of stuff whenever I do this videos. So for some reason, my system is again slow. It's if. I just want the IP address, which is not required to show to you guys, but I want to if config, and here we go. We have got all the details. So this is the IP address, so we will be scanning them. We will be using this in our discovery. So for now, I am going to turn off my Linux devices so that I can run my Windows mid server, so that there will be no other issues. So it takes a while for it to get, since we have set up everything on the Linux server, let's go ahead and create credentials. Let's come down here to the credential table, select the type of credential, which is SSH. So I am just going to save this as Linux server credentials, and please remember the username and the password, SSH, and then submit it. So let's quickly, where is that Linux server? Let's quickly confirm if the password is actually working. That's the target IP address. So if you could see that I have got an error message here, could not connect to the specified port. Now let's see if that server is actually up and running. So as you can see, it is powered off. But before that, I would want to show you guys something. So I am just going to click on cancel. I am coming to the discovery schedule. I'm going to quickly run this quick discovery because I wanted to show you guys what kind of error message would pop up, or where the discovery would fail if we get that message would not connect to the specified port, and how to fix it. Let me just quickly refresh this page, and as you can see, it is completed, and there we go. We have got a warning that it's not a reachable host and no response to target ports scanned by mid server. So if we go to the, where is the ECCQ, you can see that Shazam probe has gone. So let's quickly open the first input, and then you can see that it has tried to connect to all the ports, and we have received a message, no response to target ports scanned by the mid server. So whenever you get this message, So make sure that the target server is actually up and running, and the mid server has necessary permissions to connect to that target device, and make sure that the target device is also on the same network where your mid server is also running. So as you can see, in my case, my Linux server is actually powered off. I am just going to quickly turn it on. This would take a couple of minutes to power up, and we will connect after once our Linux machine is booted. And also we will try to see what kind of troubleshooting you need to do whenever you get that message. So I have already prepared a document for this, and let me just quickly gather that document for you guys. Here we go. So we need to follow this troubleshooting steps in order to to fix that message which said to not connect to a specified port. So first we need to check if SSH server is installed, and we have to see whether this is installed. For doing that, we need to just run this, and if not, then we'll have to install it, and we have to verify the firewall settings and everything. So let me check if my Linux server is rebooted. Great. So now, as you can see, the Linux server is actually running. So let me do one thing. Let me just go to the command. I would like to go to the command prompt and just run few things. So since I will come back to the command prompt again. So I'm going to quickly run the discovery schedule again. We see that our Ubuntu server is on, and whenever I run two virtual machines, my system is very slow. So let's see what happens to the Serjam probes. It says active. That's great. Let's wait for the input. As you can see, we have received the response, and also we saw that mid server has classified that as a Unix classification. And let's wait for a few more minutes. It's now classifying. It's active. Now it's classifying. Let's go to this devices. You can see the current activity is classifying. So all this interactive probe shell and the Unix classified probe is running. So if you want to know what is happening for the during the scan, you can just come to this devices tab, and you can see the completed activity and the current activity. So we give our mid server a few minutes to complete the scan. And also at the beginning, when I started the testing and when I was trying to figure out the SSH credential setup, I initially got that could not connect even though my Linux machine was up and running. So in that case, I followed this troubleshooting steps where I installed the open SSH server, and also I checked if any firewall is blocking, and the firewall was actually inactive. So since this is already active, or since this is already running, that's why there's no need for me to perform the steps. So I can share this document in the description box, and in case if you get that error, you can just go ahead and follow that troubleshooting steps. So in case if you are stuck somewhere and you don't know what to do, you can always reach out to your infrastructure team, who is actually responsible for handling this server. In my case, I am the infrastructure support, so I will have to do everything to fix it. So it still says classifying. So our mid server is also running, and also the Ubuntu server is also up and running. So in our case, since the SSH is already open, the scan failed because our server was actually powered off. So this is one of the troubleshooting steps you can do whenever you get that message. You can try reaching from the mid server. You can just try to ping that target device and see if you are receiving any response before you contact the infrastructure team. And if you don't get any response, then you can reach out to your infrastructure team and ask them, hey, the discovery scan is failing for this particular server. Can you check if the server or the target device is turned on? So if they say it's turned on, then can you check if the OpenS SSH is running and any firewall is blocking? So by doing all these troubleshooting steps, you will get to know what is happening behind the scenes in order to successfully scan that device. So let's give a few more minutes for this to work. And as you can see, the current activity shows as identifying. It has already classified the device as a Linux server. So identifying is the stage where where a pattern will be triggered, and the pattern will try to collect all the information, and then it will see if that particular CI is actually available in the CMDB database. If it is there, then it will go ahead and update the CMDB or that particular record. If not, a new entry will be created. So as you know that identification and exploration happens in within the pattern. So both of them have been unified, or they run together. So let's see if pattern is actually executed. So or triggered. For that, you need to go to this ECCQ, and you can see that pattern, which is called a Linux server, has been launched, and you can see the queue as output. So this means that this particular probe or the pattern has been sent to the mid server for performing this identification phase. So let's wait until we receive the input, until the mid server gathers all the information and then sends back to our ECCQ. So in order to troubleshoot any kind of discovery issues, you will there are three tables which you need to look into. One is the ECCQ, the devices, and the discovery logs. And if you want to know the table name, then you can just click on new, and you got the table name for the ECCQ. I am just going to go back to this record, and let me just duplicate this. And also my battery is running really slow, and you can just open the I believe you all know how to open the table in the ServiceNow. Just go to the ECCQ and dot list, and you can check all the ECCQ input and output. So as you can see, our discovery scan is completed and it is successful. So in order to confirm that, let's come to the devices, and you can see that the CI has been updated because I had already discovered this target devices a while ago, a few days ago. Let's open the CMDB CI and let's check it out. So as you can see, the name is Linux server because this is the name which I had given, and the serial number and the model ID, and also you can see the operating system as Linux, Ubuntu, and also the IP address, which all correlates to our Ubuntu server. And also you can see there are related items and the storage devices, software installation, running processes, and many things. So the discovery maps everything accordingly. So that's it. So we scanned a live Linux server, and you got to see how to troubleshoot a common problem. So it rebooted. Commands. To recap, in this video, you learned how to prepare a Linux server for ServiceNow Discovery with the right permissions and SSH setup, how to troubleshoot common errors like SSH connectivity issues and misconfigured discovery probes, how to perform a live scan of a Linux server using a Windows mid server. Here are few key takeaways to consider while scanning the Linux server. Always use a dedicated account with the least privilege necessary. Use SSH key authentication for security and automation. Assign the correct discovery patterns for your target OS and monitor your discovery logs for quick troubleshooting. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. do not forget to subscribe and check out the rest of the playlist for more discovery tips and demos. And thanks for watching and see you in the next part. Ta ta. Bye bye.